What countries are most affected by hantavirus? And why do certain regions around the world continue reporting dangerous outbreaks connected to this mysterious virus? Hantavirus is not equally common everywhere. Some countries experience only isolated cases. Others have faced deadly outbreaks that shock doctors, scientists, and entire communities. And what makes the virus especially frightening is how silently infections can begin. At first, symptoms often appear harmless: a fever, muscle pain, fatigue, headaches, signs many people mistake for a common flu. But in severe cases, the infection can suddenly attack the lungs, making breathing extremely difficult within only a few days. That rapid progression is one reason scientists continue monitoring hantavirus carefully around the world. And over time, certain countries became especially important in hantavirus research because of repeated outbreaks and severe infections. One of the most well-known countries connected to hantavirus is the United States, especially the Four Corners region, where Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah meet. In 1993, a deadly outbreak shocked the country. Young and previously healthy people suddenly developed severe respiratory failure. Doctors were confused at first. The symptoms initially looked like a flu, but patients quickly became critically ill as fluid built inside their lungs. Scientists eventually traced the outbreak back to deer mice, carrying a dangerous strain of hantavirus. That outbreak became one of the most important moments in modern hantavirus history, because it revealed how dangerous severe infections could become. Another region strongly connected to hantavirus is South America. Countries like Argentina and Chile have experienced multiple outbreaks over the years. Some strains identified in South America caused particular concern among scientists because certain infections appeared unusually aggressive. Researchers even investigated whether limited human-to-human transmission may have occurred during some outbreaks. That possibility immediately attracted international attention, because one of the biggest factors determining pandemic potential is how efficiently a virus spreads between humans. Fortunately, most known hantavirus strains still do not spread easily between people like COVID-19 spread. But those investigations increased scientific monitoring significantly. Chile remains one of the countries where health experts continue paying close attention to hantavirus activity, especially in rural and forested regions where human exposure to rodents is more common. Argentina has also reported severe cases connected to rodent exposure. And in many of these outbreaks, the same pattern appears again and again. The infection begins quietly. Then, severe breathing problems appear suddenly. Another country heavily connected to hantavirus research is China. In fact, some forms of hantavirus infections have been studied in Asia for decades. Certain strains found in Asia are more strongly connected to kidney complications rather than severe lung infections. This demonstrates something scientists find extremely important. Different hantavirus strains can affect the body in different ways. Some target the lungs aggressively. Others affect the kidneys more severely. That complexity is one reason global monitoring remains so important. South Korea also became historically important in hantavirus research. The virus itself was originally identified during investigations connected to illnesses affecting soldiers during the Korean War. That historical connection is actually where the name Hantavirus originated, named after the Hantan River region in Korea. Over time, researchers discovered multiple strains across different continents, and scientists realized hantavirus was not a single isolated problem. It was a global group of rodent-borne viruses capable of causing dangerous disease under the right conditions. Russia has also experienced significant hantavirus activity, especially in rural areas connected to rodent populations. In parts of Europe, countries like Finland, Sweden, and Germany occasionally report infections as well, especially in regions where human contact with wildlife and rodent populations increases during certain seasons. What makes these outbreaks especially concerning is how environmental conditions influence exposure risk. Climate changes affect rodent populations. Food supply changes affect animal movement. and human expansion into wildlife environments increases opportunities for dangerous exposure. Scientists know that outbreaks often depend heavily on environmental factors. More rodents may mean greater exposure risk, and greater exposure risk increases the possibility of human infections. That is exactly why researchers monitor both viruses and animal populations carefully. Another reason certain countries experience more cases is because of geography and climate. Forested regions, rural farming environments, cabins and storage buildings, places where rodents thrive naturally. These environments create more opportunities for contaminated dust and airborne exposure. And because exposure may happen silently, many people never realize danger exists until symptoms begin days later. That invisible exposure is one reason hantavirus continues creating fear online today, especially after COVID-19 permanently changed how humanity reacts to outbreaks. Now, every dangerous virus creates global attention instantly. Every outbreak spreads through social media within hours, and every mysterious infection raises the same terrifying question: could this become something bigger? Hantavirus repeatedly enters those conversations because severe cases can look extremely frightening once respiratory symptoms begin. Patients struggling to breathe, emergency hospitalizations, intensive care treatment. Those images create powerful emotional reactions across the internet, especially because humans naturally fear respiratory illnesses. People rarely think about breathing until breathing becomes difficult. And once oxygen feels limited, panic appears immediately. That psychological fear keeps hantavirus in global discussions even today. Now, it is important to understand something clearly. Hantavirus does not currently spread between humans the same way COVID-19 spread. For most strains, human-to-human transmission remains extremely rare, and that is one reason experts do not currently consider it a major global pandemic-level threat. But severe infections remain medically dangerous, and scientists continue studying outbreaks around the world carefully because environmental exposure risks still exist across many countries. That is why awareness matters, preparation matters, and global monitoring matters. Because history has shown humanity something terrifying many times before. The next dangerous outbreak may begin quietly long before the world fully understands what is happening. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos about deadly viruses, medical mysteries, and scientific dangers hidden around the world. Because invisible threats are often the ones humanity underestimates the most.